You just did in your question what a lot of people do. We can't do this without resources. First of all, if you don't want to, you can't do it with resources. You know, it's got nothing to do with the resources in a sense. And once again, we don't have any choice. We have to do this. The children have to be educated. They have to go to school. You know, we keep coming back to this thing. They have to go to school. Yes, you need some help. However, if there are not enough resources, if the teachers are unwilling, if the school is not suitable, if the parents are complaining, if the rest of the community, that's got nothing to do with the kid. I mean, that kid has his right, and all of that stuff, fix it. I mean, it's got nothing to do with the kid. You don't say to the kid, sorry, Johnny, you know, go somewhere else. We don't have that kind of resource, you know. And the resources, very clearly, the most important resource is the other kids. It's the only essential resource.
What do you mean by the only essential resource?
Well, people keep assuming that you can't do this unless you have a guard or an educational assistant. Or you can't do this if you don't have a trained teacher with a certificate. And I'm saying that what we're really trying to do, because I'm back to the socialization bit, you know, you socialize, you learn as you go along, you know, what you need to learn from each other. So I'm saying that if you're going to include people, if they don't have any particular difficulties and so, they just go to school like everybody else. And they learn from the other kids and from each other, but we didn't mention that as a big deal. But so now, if people are saying you can only include children if you have the money or the resources or other people, and I'm saying, no. The only way you can include people is if you have other kids. Because other than that, it's not inclusion. It's a private school, it's a one-to-one tutoring, it's whatever you want to call it. But if you want a kid to learn, to grow, to be socialized, he will do that with his peers, just as we always had. You know, I believe very firmly, blessed is the school with few resources and the need for fewer. The more special people you have, the less inclusion there is. We learned that. We used to have 3, 4 special ed teachers in a school. And so everybody looked at the special ed teacher. You know, our diagnostics prescriptive teams, first thing that people did, they looked at the principal. If he had enough sense to shut up, then they'd look at the special ed teacher. And if she had enough or he had enough sense to shut up, then they'd solve it themselves. So resources, yes, resources are wonderful. They are not essential. They are not the key. The child is the key. Your attitude is the key. That's all that matters from there. So, you know, it is a fact that it costs millions of dollars less to include kids. I mean, that's a fact. None of us believed it. I believed it, and then we proved it. And all I ever said from there on was that at least it doesn't cost more. But if it did cost more, you know, Catholic schools cost more. French schools cost more. Big schools cost less than small schools. What Phil said before, what do you value? You spend your money on what you value.